You hear that? One of the things I noticed shortly after my first DMT experience, which was almost a year ago now, was that during meditation or before sleep, or when I was at periods of feeling very calm and centered, I would notice a tone in my ear, primarily the right ear to start, and then as I paid attention to it, also in the left ear at a slightly lower frequency. And I didn't really pay much attention to it. To be honest, in the days following my DMT experience, I was kind of in the throes of this new, profound, huge realization and awareness that came upon me as like gates were opened and I just looked at everything differently. And during meditation, then the more I did it and the more I was able to quiet my mind, the more I would notice there was this background, very faint, and I can't imitate it necessarily, but like a... I'll see if I can get an audio effect to place in here. But just in the background, but it felt so sort of comforting that I didn't really pay attention to it outside of it. Was just sort of like a hum that went along with me in this, being in this focused state. And then when I wasn't meditating, or in a state of quiet stillness, I didn't notice it was not there. And the same thing with sleep. For a few minutes before I actually fell asleep, I would also notice that. And again, it felt so sort of comforting that I just sort of rode it, went with it. And it wasn't until it became more and more pronounced during periods of meditation or upon waking sometimes, if I was really coming into deep sleep and come out, I would really start to notice it. It's sometimes more pronounced in one ear than the other, and always slightly offset frequencies. That I was like, okay, what's going on here? And I did some research on it, obviously thinking tinnitus, except it's not there all the time, so what does that mean? Anyway, what I found, and what I've read from others having the similar experience, is that it is often recognized as sort of an elevating of your frequency, of your vibration, of your spiritual vibration. So your energetic frequency is being raised, or other people have described it as, and I like this, it sort of resonates with my view of what it is a download, an energetic download from a higher dimension or your higher self, for example. So it's like a spiritual communication. I've also heard other people describe it as an upgrading of your DNA. I'm not as familiar with what that's all about, but some people look at it as that. Either way, it is something that I've come to look at it as far as this tone, as something that has to do with an energetic elevating of your awareness or of your consciousness. I'm looking into this more myself. This is just something I've become very aware of over the last few months, and I wanted to make a video about it because I've talked to other people who have this same experience. And there's definitely, tinnitus is something to be ruled out, have an assessment, be checked out if it's something that's all the time and it's uncomfortable. But if this comes up only at certain times, or it feels like it's sending you a message, or it's during times where you're very quiet, or where you're very anxious, or there's a lot of anxiety and this comes up, perhaps there's some other message that's being conveyed to you, and if you were to calm yourself and listen to it in that vein, in that light, it may deliver some sort of higher awareness to you. You may get something from it. I've found it during meditation. I let that be another focus, soft focus in the background in addition to my breath. And that lets me get my attention off of all of the varying thoughts or distractions externally, bring that attention inward, become more still, become more present. So this is just something I'm putting out there for others that may be experiencing this. And for myself, I'm going to be paying more attention to it. One of my friends has developed an awareness of this to a point where he uses that tone as a signal as a guidance tool for him. So he when he's trying to make a decision or move forward with something, he'll actually ask himself, his higher self, yes, no, how do I feel about this, and wait for a tone. And he'll get a clear signal that gives him an idea of whether this is something to move forward with or not. I haven't become that in tune with it, but it was very interesting to hear that, like becoming more aware of it and listening to it, it can actually be a good feedback for you. It's like your own natural biofeedback. For myself, I have been able to, if I can pay attention to it, I can increase or decrease the volume of that now consciously as well. And there was actually the one video I was talking about, there's a whole meditation system built around these tones, becoming aware of that in one ear and then the other. I've had that, and now it talked about a third tone, which is sort of above and behind the head, which I've, on very rare occasions, if I pay attention to it, again, it's like a soft focus, so it's not like you're trying to like think about it, you're just trying to be still and aware and have a soft attention be drawn to it. It's like something that when you look directly at it and squint and strain, you don't see it, but when you're looking off to the side, it's sort of in your side focus, you're aware of it. So it's sort of hard to describe, but I thought I'd put it out there in case some of you can relate to it as well. Until next time, stay awake.